Hello, my name is Nate O'Neill. I'm going to teach you about diffusion osmosis today. So, diffusion osmosis is picture a box with particles in it. If the box with particles are all in this corner, it's an area of high concentration to fill out the box, which was an area of low concentration. And there's a couple of different factors that can affect this. And for me, I'll list them out. There's the amount of particles. So if you had more particles, it would be able to fill the area faster. If you increase the temperature, which in effect would probably increase the speed, they would fill that area faster from high to low. There is the weight. If the particles are slow, they'd move, or heavy, they'd move slow. And if particles are light, they would move faster. And then there's pressure. Say your box is big, it would take them a little time to fill it, but if we make the box smaller, or in fact increase this pressure, they would be able to fill more quickly in the box, and that is diffusion. Now we're going to move to osmosis, which is very similar to diffusion. It's the particles in that same box, but it's split by a semi-permeable membrane. And that is an area of high concentration, which all the particles on one side go to the area of low concentration through that partially permeable membrane. There it is, not semi. And in my great mind, I have thought of raisins as a partially permeable membrane that can be breached by particles. So when I was making oatmeal, I realized that inside the oatmeal that my particles, after I put the raisins in, heats up the water particles, and they slowly but surely enter my raisin and make my raisin bigger. And I always thought that was blueberries or some other kind of magic, and not that this tiny shriveled raisin had a high concentration of sugars and the water had a low concentration of sugars, so the water went into the area from high to low. And that's how I learned diffusion and osmosis. To make this more clear, I had diffusion, which is the particles, and in my theory it was the water as my particles, moved from an area of high to low. Since the water had no sugar and the raisins had a high concentration of sugar, it had to fill the raisin to make it a high to low situation to make sense. And then the semi-permeable membrane is the skin of the grape. And that is how my broad mind thought of science. To confuse my breakfast to saying it's not magic, that it's actually science. And for one more clear message, the 4 factors I used in diffusion was temperature. I had to heat up my oatmeal. Heat up the water in the oatmeal. There was a pressure by me putting the lid and the cap of my pot in the oatmeal, which made it go faster. There was the amount. I had to pour a decent amount of water. And then water didn't have that much weight, so it didn't take that much time to fill the area. And from the water breaching in the grape is the semi-permeable membrane, which is osmosis. So that is how I learned diffusion and osmosis. Thank you for listening, and that is what I have learned this semester.